Hello Desert Bearhawk fans, coming to you from the shop. It's been a while since I put a video up on YouTube. I do have some videos up on my Facebook page / Desert Bearhawk. But for those of you that don't do the old Facebook thing, I thought I'd throw a video up here for you as well. This is the main spar for the right wing. And as you can see, and I don't know how well you can see because the light's reflecting off the aluminum, but I've got the main spar for the right wing all laid out. All the cap strips drilled with the number 30 pilot hole for all the rivets, and you can see right here, if we come right in, you can see all the holes. Pilot holes are drilled. You can see, for example, this is the start of a cap strip right here. So it's one thickness here. Now there's a second thickness, so 1/4 inch of cap strip material on the aft side of this spar. You can also see the string here that I have that sets the center line, and I've used the splice plates. You can see them right there. I use them to help set my distance so everything's parallel, and it's coming together pretty good. Initially there was some concern about drilling these holes and making them perpendicular, straight and square, so when you put a rib in, or excuse me, when you put a rivet in like this rivet right here, it slides in the hole and sits flush. I was so concerned about it, as a matter of fact, that I considered using some drill cups with drill guides in them. That's for a number 30. There's a couple more right there for number 21s, but they couldn't really use them because the drill cup itself was impacting the flange of the spar web before I could get the center of the drill cup over the hole. So just decided to man up and do them by hand, and they're coming out pretty good. What I'm doing is I'm drilling just randomly all over the place, and you'll see that I'll have several places where I put rivets, and those rivets all move in and out pretty easily. And what those are doing is they're keeping the microscopic or the minute movement of these spar caps in relation to the rest of the assembly, keeping that movement all locked down. It's effectively pinning them. It's not squeezing them down, but it's pinning them so they can't move. And then I'm using the calicos here to lock it down. So been going pretty easy, pretty straightforward, just a lot of work. Couple things to keep in mind when you're doing yours is try to clamp real close to where you're drilling a hole. You want to clamp the material down because you don't want the chips to get in between the layers of the material and start to spread it apart, because if this thing raises up, that means that it's got to shrink this way too to accommodate the arc in it, because there's no free lunch here. And if that happens, then your holes are going to start getting off. So you want to clamp them down tight. Take your time, hold your drill nice and perpendicular, and drill through straight, and then every now and again put in a rivet like I've done here, and I've got several of them along the way. The other thing to remember is read your plans carefully. These holes right here along the top of the root web, they're number 5s, these holes. But the remainder of the holes in this assembly are number 4s. So don't drill them out to a 21 because they'll be oversized. Same thing here. This line of rivets up here, number 5s, but the remainder of this, number 4s. So be careful. Read your plans carefully. Another thing I did where I screwed up, and I'll admit it right here on tape, so if there's ever an NTSB investigation, you guys will have the evidence. I don't think it's a big deal though. But you can see right here is where the two spar webs join. And then if you look right there, there's a hole for a rivet. And I should have offset that hole a little bit to the right. to give me a little better edge distance. I have about 1.5 D edge distance once this hole is drilled. Be better to have 2, but it's 1 rivet out of 150, so I'm not going to sweat it. But just be mindful of things like that. Of course, you saw on your plans, right by the number 9 rib, which is right here, you do not drill this hole. You do not drill it, because this is where your steel for your flat mechanism bolts in, and you'll match drill that once the wing's assembled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to it's 7 3/16 from center to center, so I will put this in my little rig over here that I use to drill the center lines. The drill press comes down in here, and there's a pin over there that locks it all in position. What I'll do is I'll come in and I will just dimple. Where are we? Where's number 9 at? Do not drill. Right here. I will just come in here and I will take my drill bit, and right where the rivets would be, I'm just going to put a little dimple mark there, just a little half divot with the drill, just to denote where the number 9 rib is supposed to sit. So once this is all primed up, it'll all look super bad, super good, not super bad, but I guess it depends on where you come from. But anyways, it'll look good, and I'll have a little divot there that'll kind of help me remember this is where that steel is supposed to sit, right in this area here. So sorry for a sketchy video, but it's up in my hands, and makes things look a little shaky here, and I have to do this on a cord because my battery doesn't work anymore. This camera's so old. But you can see I've got $125 worth of Harbor Freight clamps on this thing. It is clamped down 16 ways till Tuesday. I highly, highly recommend that you not only get a lot of clamps when you do yours, but you also make the investment for these high torque wing nutted panel fastener Coleco gizmos. I don't know what the hell they call them, but they've got a long reach. Here, I'll grab one right here. They've got a long reach, so you can get down through multiple layers of the cap strips, which at some point it's over a ½ inch. It's 532 thousandths at some places, but it gives you enough reach to get in there. You know, a standard Coleco doesn't have that reach. You know, the reach isn't there. So I highly recommend that you bite the bullet. They're maybe $4 a piece. You know, it's a $70,000 airplane project. I would buy, you know, $100 worth of those things too, because they're going to save your bacon when you're putting your spars together. All right, there you have it. The right hand main spar is coming together. The next step after drilling out all these rivets is I'm going to start fitting the vertical bars that the ribs sit on, the vertical bars that go between here. I'll start fitting those. That'll take a couple of days to get those all done. And then when those are all done, it'll be time to cut the lightning holes. And the lightning holes are marked. I got them marked right here. You can see there's the mark for it. Cut the lightning holes with the fly cutter on the drill press right here. And then it'll be disassemble it and etch it and prime it. Then reassemble it, check everything for square, and start riveting it together with the size of these rivets right here. It's pretty crazy. They're 5-13s. They are really long. They have to be to get all the way through that material. So, anyways, that's what I'm doing with my spar and my spar caps. Again, you can see the end here. You see I got the string locked in there. I'm running another string along the side here, but it's all janked up right now because of all these clamps. But I'm real certain that this spar is straight. I've measured it a dozen times, and then I had a friend come over who's a heck of a lot smarter than me, and he measured it as well, and we're right on center, good to go. So there you have it. That's what we're doing right now, and until next time when there's something important to show you, we'll see you in the shop.